And let's talk about Miss Lizzo, who shared that anti-genocide activists have helped pull her out of a 9-month depression in a Canada News social media post. Now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Lizzo said Monday that she wished and extend a personal thank you to activists working against genocides in Palestine, Sudan, and the Congo, also saying student protests in the United States are deeply important. Well, Lizzo, can you send that to that old big-headed bitch Hillary Clinton, because she want to sit out here and go on Jimmy Fallon and CNN and pretty much thumb her nose up at the younger generation and say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, because I've been over to Israel and I've been over there. Yes, sis, we know you've been over there and you've probably been bought and paid for. So we're not going to sit and listen to your dumb ass when it comes to talking about things when the people on the outside looking in are way more smarter than you realize. And one of the things I want to say, and I don't think I've done this enough, but I want to sincerely give a shout out to Gen Z, because I feel like Gen Z and even Gen Alpha, who are jumping into the whole thing, have really been coming out here and really teaching and reminding a lot of those people that were older about, when you see some shit, if you see something, say something. And if you see something that's not right and you're tired of our tax-paying dollars being used to fund a genocide, when that's something we don't want, and Joe Biden thinks that he could just, ignore it and it'll go away. And it's like, no, I don't care how many people y'all kick out of, rooms or whatever, Hakeem Jeffries and a whole lot of y'all Democrats and Republicans. I don't care how many people you kick out of a room. You cannot ignore the big elephant in the room. It is still, the stench is still there. We still smell the elephant shit. You can't get rid of the smell. So y'all need to acknowledge it, and we need to come to some sort of conclusion. Otherwise, you're going to lose this damn campaign. People don't want to vote for Trump. People don't want to vote for Biden. People want a third party candidate, or they're just going to not use their vote. And this whole fear mongering that I've noticed a lot of Democrats doing, like get over it or whatever, which is basically the attitude that Hillary had. Stop being dismissive of a lot of these younger people, because they didn't Whitney say the children are our future, and it seems like a lot of these kids who everybody likes to thumb they know. I feel like every generation does this, because they did it to my generation. So, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all young, y'all stupid, whatever. It's like, no, we pay attention. A lot of kids are, their minds are sponges and they're developing and they're learning things. And for you to just dismiss them because you feel like they don't know what they're talking about, social media is allowing people to just go and find out things way faster than getting the BS from teachers or whatever the case was. Because I used to debate my teachers in school when I had one teacher sit up here and talk about Columbus discovered America. I said, no, the fuck you didn't. Because as someone whose family is Native American, part Native American, and living on reservations, you're not going to sit up here and discount the genocide of my people at the hands of, in historical figures like Christopher Columbus and stuff, and how the genocide, like this country was stolen from Native Americans. So we're going to talk about colonization. We're going to talk about it. So we're not going to do that. So I do applaud Lizzo for coming out and saying something. And that's why I said, I don't think I do it enough, but I actually want to sit and thank Gen Z for being the catalyst to come out and speak about this, because it's like, but wait a minute, y'all the same people that was, not, people of my parents' generation. Y'all were protesting the Vietnam War. Y'all were protesting women's, for the women's liberation, the sexual revolution. Then we had the gays with, Stonewall riots and that sort of thing. So we've been here many a times. But why is it when it comes to, and in Black Lives Matter, that's my generation. And then we've had all these things. But why is it like all of a sudden now, when it comes to this whole Israel-Palestine situation, the kids are stupid. They don't know what they told me. And these are the same fucking people that was out here marching for that stuff that I just mentioned. But these kids don't know what they're talking about? So can they say the same thing about y'all? But anyway, let's get back to Lizzo. So she did post a picture. Oh, yeah, and another thing I noticed also, I'm glad that they brought up Sudan and the Congo, because there's genocides and stuff going on there too. I know we're so bombarded with, with the whole Palestine situation, but I'm glad that they brought up Sudan and the Congo. But hold on, because I'm trying to find this clip with Lizzo, and then we'll get right back to. Okay, so it said in a video posted on IG, which the singer noted was long overdue, Lizzo said that she wanted to give a thank you to all the activists and all that good stuff. So we're gonna play that clip now, so y'all can hear what she had to say, and I'm gonna give my thoughts.
This video is long overdue, but I just want to take a second and give a personal thank you to all of the activists who have been working tirelessly to help the liberation and the freedom of the people who have been genocided all over the world, specifically Palestine, Sudan, and the Congo. As someone who has worked closely with activists, I know the toll it can take on your mental and your physical, and it can feel thankless. So if you have not heard it today, thank you. Your work is not in vain. You have helped so many people. You have saved literal lives. And on a personal note, you have activated me. I was in a deep, dark depression. I had um, some mental health crises and episodes over the last 9 months, and I was not present. Between the loss I experienced in my personal life and the state of the world, I had been rendered into an emotional state where I could not process or handle anything. It was very dark. And I'm not saying this to make excuses, nor do I want sympathy. I just haven't been able to be transparent with y'all in a long time. And this has been weighing on my heart to share with y'all. The people in my life who love and care about me, they helped me get out of this dark space. And I appreciate them. Kind words from people on the internet, um, they really motivated me. But also the activism that I've been seeing has been extremely motivating. Y'all have really motivated me to get my ass up and get back to who I am. I also want to take this moment and thank all of the anti genocide, anti war protests that have been happening at college campuses all across this country. What these students have done and are doing is so deeply important. I can't even express it in one video. I am also extremely indebted to Operation Olive Branch and all the people running that organization. Thank you.
Okay, so we can pause it there. And you know what? Shout out to Lizzo for saying that. Now, I do know, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw her documentary, but it was a while ago on HBO Max. And she was talking about how I believe her father was an activist and was very much into activism and stuff back in the day and civil rights and that sort of thing, which has which also played a huge part in her music and how she creates all the things that she did in her music and stuff, and kind of taking that more positive situation when it comes to music and uplifting and all that, and all that stuff. Now, I am glad also that she has decided to speak out about all this other stuff, but I know some people, let's get to the cynic side, some people feel like that she's coming out and saying all this because her public image has kind of been in the toilet. Where she was, back in, what was it, last year in August and September, they said that, the accusation with the former dancers, where they accused her of harassment and other workplace grievances in a series of complaints that were reportedly now on hold while she appeals a ruling that allowed the case to move forward. And she said that she didn't do anything, whatever the case was. And then she was talking about she was quitting the industry. But then she said that she came back and said, I quit giving any negative energy attention. And then she was dealing with a lot of stuff and going on with them. Then they also feel like maybe she's coming out and saying stuff because, she was at the Met Gala. And there's this whole thing going on about, let's cancel all these celebrities that showed up at the Met Gala. And there was something that I saw earlier. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Ortega Rojas, who I like to follow on Instagram. And he said something that was really prominent. I know he was on the red carpet interviewing, people and stuff about it, but he also is someone who speaks out about a lot of injustices. He was on the red carpet interviewing the girls for GLAAD, I should say. And he also has, posts a lot of political motivated stuff on his IG. And he was saying something like, okay, now what we should not be treating this whole activism thing that was going on in regards to, oh yeah, let's cancel every celebrity that doesn't speak out about Palestine or doesn't speak out about this or doesn't speak out about that. Like, I've had friends that was talking about, yeah, load up, go on people's merch pages, load up the stuff, like leave it all in the cart and then don't check out nothing. Just leave it up in there because it makes it harder for people to buy or purchase anything because it's all up in the cart, but it hasn't been purchased. And I'm saying, like, I'm not doing all of that, first of all, to fuck up somebody's situation. I don't care enough. I just don't give them my money. Like, I thought that would just be that simple. Like, if you don't support an artist, don't buy their merch. Or if you want to buy their merch, go on Amazon because then they won't get the money. Just don't go on their website and buy the merch. Just the same thing like with blocking them. I'm like, okay, so you blocking them on Instagram, like, how does that affect them in any way? Like, to me, it's like, I don't like this whole idea of like, let's play who's the bigger political activist than the other. I'm not sitting here doing no dick measuring situation with people to show you how much I'm in solidarity with the people of Palestine. Y'all already know how I feel about this situation. I've spoken out about it. I'm sharing enough information. If you go on my IG stories, I share enough stuff that because I'm taking off the thing where it's like, on Instagram, they block, where it's like you can either get a lot of political stuff into your feed or not. You have the choice. So I took it off so that way I get all the political information. Because, once TikTok allegedly disappears, then where am I going to get all my information of what's going on in the world? So I like all that stuff in my feed because I like to be informed. So you have a choice of wanting to do that. And for me to like try to force celebrity hands because you're mad that they showed up somewhere or they didn't do this or they didn't speak out. It's like we should not be forcing people to have to speak out on political things if they don't want to. Just like we don't force human beings. And I've had conversations with friends of mine that are like, you know what, I don't say anything because I'm not 110% sure of what's going on. Like I'm learning things and I'm hearing things and I'm educating myself, but I don't want to say the wrong thing because these days, the way, people come out and they say something, y'all ready to cancel. Y'all ready to just destroy it. Like nobody can make a mistake. Nobody can say the wrong thing. It's a problem if if somebody says just one thing that ticks you off because y'all just be ready to pounce. I was like, whatever happened to the days where we could actually sit and have a genuine conversation about stuff and it not be an issue of, oh, well, I'm going to be canceled if I say the wrong thing, which makes people afraid to have a debate. Me, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sit and debate. I'm going to say whatever because I come from that. When I was growing up, I debated and stuff. So that don't scare me none. But there's other people who get afraid to come out and say certain things because it's a fear of being canceled, whatever the case was. So I'm sure Lizzo will work out what she's gonna work out. I'm glad she spoke out. I'm hoping it's not that she's not speaking out because she's worried about her livelihood being affected or whatever the case is. But if people, and there was another thing too, where somebody asked, I think it was on my friend Lady Bunny's page. Somebody, she posted something where it was just like, how do you feel about people who are just now coming on the situation? I guess bandwagoning, where it's like, oh, they just now jumping on the bandwagon or whatever. I hate using that word because it makes it feel like you just jumping on it for clout and stuff. And I do feel like there are people out there that are jumping on situations and trying to say, oh yeah, I'm on Palestine because it's going to get me views on Instagram. It's going to get my TikTok to go up, whatever the case is. And if that's what you're doing, people will see through the bullshit eventually. That's like somebody throwing up a Black Lives Matter thing, but you were low-key racist. But you've seen some people do some problematic shit like that. Oh yeah, I show solidarity. I'm all for the blacks and Black Lives Matter. Mind you, you out here sending N-word posts and all this other stuff and step and fetch type sexual shit and or you having yourself a moment like Jared Carmichael, where you up in here, that situation with him and that little white boyfriend he got and the little joke he made and everybody dragged him over it. So I don't mind if people are late to the party. Not everybody is going to be unplugged from the Matrix when you decide to unplug. It's the same thing when I'm going to bring up the Beyonce Tina Knowles situation where she was talking about like educating people through her art. And her mother was like, Beyonce said it may not be, some people will get it today and some people will get it tomorrow. And I truly believe that. I feel like not everybody is going to get what you're trying to say or what's going on in the world out the gate. Sometimes you got to give people the time and the grace to figure it out before they're like, you know what, I've gotten enough information. Now I can open up and now I can show my solidarity and educate myself more because there's even been Jewish people that's come out and said, you know what, I've been taught to believe this about my people for years, not even years, decades, I should say. And then when I found out the true tea, now I understand. So sometimes you got to give people the grace and the time to unwind and have the strings and the thread to come out and for them to like unlearn what they have been taught growing up. And I feel like a lot of us go through that, be it Jewish people or black people or gay people or women or men. There's certain things that you learn that you've been conditioned to learn growing up as a child, and when you get older you start to deprogram yourself from those things or unlearn the things that you learn that turns out to be traumatic or childhood traumas and things of that nature. So I don't mind that Lizzo spoke out. I'm glad she spoke out, but girl, make sure you get your situation in order with all the drama that's going on with you and that sort of thing with the lawsuit. But let me know what you guys think down below, because I always say, like, you know what? I don't mind if people just come on the bandwagon at the last minute if they're willing, genuinely willing to open up and learn about what's going on in the world. And so I don't mind that Lizzo has come out and said something, and we shouldn't have to put a gun to people's head and be like, "Well, Lizzo came out and said something. Now y'all all did." Like, no, don't do that. We're not going to force people to have to come out and be political. Just like it's the same thing I look at as like if somebody is gay and in the closet and they're not ready to come out, we're not going to force them to. It needs to be on their own time when they are ready. Then they can come out. Or if they do come out and say some stuff, what are your intentions? So let me know what you guys, or what are your true intentions? So let me know what you guys think down in the comments on the story below.